Hello, welcome to Off the Shelf Reviews.
I kick ass for the Lord.
And I'm Gary. And today we're going to review and discuss Rawhead Rex, which came out in 1987.
86?
86? 87?
86?
No, it came out in the late 80s.
Yeah.
Directed by George Pavlou. And of course, written by Clive Barker, who also did the adaptation screenplay for this film. Of course, his short story appeared in volume 3 of Books of Blood. Iain, why don't you give us the synopsis for Rawhead Rex?
Well, the story follows Howard, his wife Elaine, and their 2 children who have gone out to the Irish countryside so that Howard can study churches and the ancient sacred land underneath them. While there, a group of farmers have removed a large stone from a field and released Rawhead Rex from his grave. Rex goes round killing lots of villagers in this small town, and it's down to Howard to try and stop the monster before he destroys the world.
Going into this film, of course, this is one of those films that almost everyone has heard about.
Yeah.
You probably would have seen the posters or maybe the VHS cover in a rental store back along.
Yeah.
And this is one that I never bothered with, despite the monster looking pretty good on a still image. This is one that I'd always skipped. It was, it built up that reputation of being awful. So much so that if you were a fan of Clive Barker, you would have heard his ramblings about this film and how much he detested it. He hated this film so much. And I think it's because he had no real creative control other than the screenplay and his original work. And his experience with this film pretty much made him decide that the next film that he would make, he would have full directorial control.
Yeah.
And of course, that film would be Hellraiser. I also think it's interesting that this film now has such a reputation that towards the end of this year, 2017, Rawhead Rex is getting a Blu-ray 4K Ultra re-release.
What the fuck? Really?
Really?
I like you, had seen this poster at a very young age and was like, oh my god, blown away, wanting to see what this thing was. And throughout my years, I don't know why, I just never pushed myself to watch it. It never appeared on my list. And then Gary said, hey, we're going to watch it for the review. So I was like, oh, okay, sit down and watch it. And honestly, at the end of it, it was like, have you ever asked for like a Christmas present that you'd seen the advert for and thought it would look really, really cool, and that if you got it, it would be like the most awesome present ever, and then you got it and you realized it was really fucking shit? That's kind of how I felt with this movie. I mean, it starts off with Howard, played by David Dukes, heading to this small town, and you're intercut between him and the farmers trying to remove this stone. And so you're like, okay, got a bit of a good start here going. I bet you, something evil's gonna come out from underneath that stone. And you see the dark clouds on the horizon, and you see the stained glass window with Rex in it, and the red lights are coming through his eyes, and weird shit's going on in the church.
Just from the outset of looking at this film, I was like, are we sure this was made in the 80s? Because it looks like it was made in the mid to late 70s.
Yeah.
I mean, I know this film is ultra low budget, but it's really showing. And I also thought it was hilarious that, the way that they're trying to remove this rock from the ground, I'm sure it would have made more sense to tie it at the top to pull the stone down instead of from the base.
Yeah, or dynamite.
Anyway, and it's just the dialogue. I cracked up laughing straight away when the big guy's just like, yeah, I've had enough of this. My dinner's on the table, so see ya.
Well, I better be getting back. Me dinner's on the table.
Thanks, anyway.
And the two farmers, they leave their buddy, and he carries on. trying to remove the stone, and his pickaxe or his large piece of metal that he's been using is stuck in the ground, and he starts wiggling it, and it's intercut with the hallelujah from the church, and it's I know it's supposed to be suspenseful and tension filled, but it's just not. It's just really, it throws you off, cutting from this creepy field, and then the church, and then back again. And he finally, the ground breaks and Rex appears for like 2 fucking seconds. And I don't even know if I really want to start doing this now, but I feel I need to. Peter Litton did the creature effects. I think this is the only film that he may have only ever did creature effects for. He's not really up there with some of the, great names that we could list off. Rex looks shit.
It's the fact that his eyes just look dead. They have that red glimmer in them, but they just look like fake puppet eyes.
Yeah, and his mouth never closes. He's always just walking around like... For an hour and a half film, there's just no facial expression being shown.
No. It's also a complete departure from how the creature is depicted in the book. In the book, it's depicted as being this 9-foot tall phallic-looking creature.
Yeah.
And here's an image now of how Clive Barker sort of imagined or illustrated the creature to look. And as you can see, the head of this creature is incredibly phallic.
Yeah.
It's not just phallic for whatever sake. It does actually play into the lore of the creature.
Yeah.
And in the book, it describes the creature as being the living embodiment of the male sex drive.
Right.
And so it would also have an innate fear of pregnant women and women and girls on their periods. Rawhead Rex would not attack them for his own fear, and that being fueled by male sex drive. Like pregnant women, no. Girls on periods, no. And also in the book, Rawhead Rex likes to castrate men. Also, a lot of that is only slightly hinted at in this film.
Slightly? I got none of that from this film. At what point did he castrate anybody in this movie?
He doesn't in the film.
He doesn't.
But he does have a fear of pregnant women.
Yeah, I kind of got that. The first farm he goes to, he kills the farmer, the husband, who's gone to the barn to wonder why his barn's unlocked.
But it's not just unlocked. The fucking lock is hanging off the hinges.
Yeah, all right. But why the fuck is a 9-foot demonic penis-powered demon hiding in a barn? Right, exactly. So they've just set it up that he's going to rip this fucking lock off and hide in the barn. Was he, if this farmer had never gone to the barn, would Rawhead Rex have spent the whole movie in that barn waiting for somebody to come along?
Probably.
Because the farmer goes in there, Rex jumps out, and you're like, I tried to be scary. I tried to be scared by it, but I just couldn't. And he grabs the farmer and the wife. She sees Rex bite the neck of her husband or scratch his face. I couldn't tell because you kept seeing it from the back. And obviously, like we said, the budget wasn't big enough for him to really show it in detail. And the husband is killed. And then Rex, decides to come over and destroy the house to get to the woman.
He wrecks the kitchen.
He's like, those eggs.
Oh, eggs.
What the fuck? He spends a couple of seconds, couple of minutes in the kitchen while she runs off. I honestly couldn't tell if her acting was really good that she was terrified, or her acting was really, really bad And that, that was just the way that she looked.
It was bad. It was all bad.
It was
like
bad.
when she hid up, up in on the top floor.
Yeah.
And she closes and locks her bedroom door. And she's all panicked and terrified. And after about 5 seconds, she's like,
Oh, maybe he's
well,
gone.
maybe he's gone.
And he boots down the fucking door, and she lands on the floor. And that's when I realised that she was pregnant. I was just like, I can see, see the belly showing through the dress.
Well, when the husband came back, he did put his hand around her, and then I was like, she's pregnant.
Right, yeah, I didn't see that bit. But she, Rex walks in, and you see this clawed hand go to her belly, and then he leaves her alone. And so that was when I started getting the hint of, right, okay, he's got a bit of a fear towards women, or pregnant women at least. It just doesn't really translate for the rest of the movie. He'll fucking kill anything later on, but at that point, their friend comes back, from the field, and he notices that the door's been ripped off. He doesn't see the body because Rex has decided to take the body with him. He notices the house is wrecked. He goes inside, goes up to the top floor, and there she is. And I at this point, I thought she was possessed because of the way that she acted. She's like, and then it changes, and she's in complete kind of insane shock.
Yeah. I think I would be too, in a way.
Yeah, I think I would be too if I had to see that thing coming towards me. So Howard is obviously studying the ancient burial grounds underneath the churches, and he's gone to the local church to check out its stained glass windows and check its records. And he comes across Declan, who works in the church. I don't think he's actually a priest. I think he's like the priest's assistant to Reverend Coots, which is the old man that Howard has spoken to.
No, he's a verger.
He's a verger, is he?
Yeah.
He looked like a fucking dick. Honestly, the guy playing Declan, I thought was one of my favorite, kind of up there with my favorite characters, because he was just a fucking asshole from the moment Howard sees him. And I'm just like, who lets this guy work in here? This Declan is on edge. But you've constantly got that red laser thing light coming through Rawhead's eyes into the church. That's not normal.
I'm like, what's it actually shining on? Anything? Nothing? It's just,
it's just there.
But then you've also got that the altar in the church, which when the woman picked up the plant, it was sort of on fire and burnt.
Yeah. And then Declan, when he's left alone, puts his hand on there and gets mad visions of...
It just looked like he had dropped acid.
Oh, massively. And it's not like it even shows you anything. It kind of you're walking through the woods, and then you see a campfire, and that's it. Now Declan is kind of powered or under the spell of Rex.
But he also had the red eye thing shining on him as well.
Yeah, it doesn't really explain it very well in this movie.
You know what I thought was funny was that Howard. Helen Beck, and the family. I thought their surname was quite a funny play on words.
Really?
Helen Beck, Hell and Back.
What the fuck, man! I actually thought their children were really great actors.
Really?
They were doing their dialogue a hell of a lot better than some of the fucking actors. And we're talking. I mean, the little girl must have been about 4. And I think that the little boy, I think that's his first starring role. He'd go on to star in other films in his later life, but they just worked well, compared to Mum and Dad. I mean, the mum you know, she was moaning and whinging in the hotel room to her husband that they were stuck in this god-awful town. And there's a joke about her mum, but it's the son's joke in the graveyard where the dad says to him, "Oh, this is where your forefathers were born." And the son's like, "Yeah, and left."
Then can we go home? I'm bored.
But Robbie, how can you be bored? This is the land of your forefathers, remember?
Yeah, and they left.
And left, Dad. I'm like, he's a smart mouth little bastard. Watch out for that one. But it's also like when Howard and his wife are walking down the street, and you know, they're just talking about something, and he says to her, "Oh, you realise you've got dirty eyes?"
You have very dirty eyes. Anybody ever tell you that?
Practically everybody.
Has anyone ever told you that?
Anyone ever told you that? I'm a historian. I like dead things. Well, not all the time. And then they start making out in the street, and
Was
I'm
this
like,
after she had her dream of Big Jake?
You know, you were talking in your sleep.
Was I?
Who the hell is Big Jake?
Wouldn't you like to know?
no, this was before.
Ah.
This was before. But the thing I couldn't get was, where are the children? You've just left them in this hotel? Oh, the big one's watching the little one, like in Jay and Silent Bob. You know, just leave them alone. You know, something bad's going to happen along that lines. But they end up going back to their hotel, and Rex is obviously wandering around, dragging the farmer's body, and he comes across a caravan park. Okay. It's later explained to us that Rex is you know, the original thing to live on this land. So this is his territory. But it's just, he's a fucking 9-foot demon that can wreck shit in instant. What does he do? He stalks up, looks through the window at these kids, and Andy and his girlfriend Katrina, who aren't getting any quiet time because they've got to look after Andy's little brother, decide to wander out into the woods, and Rex decides to wander after them.
And it's so cliched, you know, it's the whole, did you hear something? No, I didn't hear something. Let's make out some more. I really heard something this time. I want to go back, but I want to have sex, but I want to go back. Okay, we'll go back. And this pads out the film, really, for like 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Did you hear that?
No.
Andy's little brother has decided to sneak after them because Andy broke his toy, and he comes across Rex, who is crappingly eating the farmer that he's been dragging round for miles. And he's a bit shocked, and Rex obviously hears him but can't see him in the woods. 9-foot demon of hell, yeah, just ignores noises like that. And the kid runs back to the caravan park and is in complete shock, telling the other people in the caravan, or not telling, sorry, he's completely sat there in silence while they're trying to work out what it is. And Rex jumps out on Andy and Katrina and bites Andy's hand off.
Yeah. And so Katrina manages to get back to the caravan park, still holding Andy's hand. Shock horror!
Howard would see Rex standing on a hill holding Andy's head. Not that you can tell or anything. I mean, whatever that is in the distance. Could be fucking anything. Could be a cow. Could be a fucking airplane. I don't fucking know. What is it? Oh, it's the way he explains it later on. He's like, I'm not sure what it was, but I'm pretty sure it was like a 9-foot monster. So
Maybe I saw something.
I beg your pardon?
At least, I don't think it was. It was very tall. I mean, much too big to be a man.
you even know what it is, or it's not. You don't.
So he's trying to explain it to the police, and most of the police are just like, yeah, 9-foot tall monsters killing people, okay.
Yeah,
and they don't believe him. So,
but the bodies are piling up, so they have a feeling something's going on. They think it's a revenge killing. Of what? This fucking town's like made up of maybe 20 people. Who would go? Oh, it's got to be a group of people walking around. You haven't got no evidence. I'd rather go with this guy's theory that there's a 9-foot fucking creature going around than whatever you've got.
So he drew them a picture, an illustration of this monster as well. And it's only when the cops receive a second hand-drawn illustration from the boy who had saw the creature earlier, who was still in shock, and the police are like, these two pictures look the same. I wonder what that means.
Howard and his family decide that, they're going to leave. Howard's done his little time in the town, so they're going to drive off. And they get in the car, and the four of them were driving out of town. And Minty, the little girl, says that she needs to go toilet. And so the family just like, oh, do we need to stop? Oh, fuck's sake. Okay, fine. And the mum's like, oh, don't worry, she can go off on her own. I'm like, she's 3, maybe 4. You're just going to let her wander off on her own? What kind of parent are you?
Oh, she's okay on her own. Go on, Minty.
Where?
In the field, nobody will see you.
Especially considering they saw this disturbing-looking scarecrow just down the road as well. And looking at the back of that scarecrow, you're just like, is that Rex? Is that the back of Rex?
Is it? I mean, yeah, it does definitely look like a scarecrow. I mean, Rex looks like a fucking scarecrow, But Mum's got this bad feeling, but she's happy for her daughter to go wandering off on her own. Howard's just like, no, she can, while she's still young, I'm gonna, take care of her. And he takes her to the field, which is right next to where the car's parked. Instead of saying go round the corner of the wall and just do it quickly, he goes, oh, see that bush over there where I cannot see you at all? Go behind that. So the little girl's like, oh, okay then. And she wanders off. He doesn't bother following her or anything. But she screams. And so Dad rushes in after her. Mum jumps out of the car and rushes after her. And they come behind the bush and realise that the daughter has been scared by a dead rabbit. Okay, yeah, that's fine. Rex, in all of his stealth stalking fucking ability, sneaks up on the car and gets hold of Robbie, the little boy. And the dad is... It's so fucking stupid. It's so fucking irresponsible with parents, because he just keeps looking... I can't see anything, nothing's there. I can't see anything, nothing's there. Oh, well, look at that. It's a giant fucking huge creature next to the car.
And as he goes running towards the car, he gets to the gate, and then he's out of breath. He's just like, oh, yeah, I can't get through.
I forgot that the gate opens inwards. Oh my God, my son's been taken. There's blood everywhere. They can't find the body or anything.
I think there's like a severed foot on the floor.
Yeah.
But again, when the kid was struggling, it looked like the kid was trying not to laugh at the creature.
Yeah.
And that's why I was like, the acting was, it's not.
I don't understand why he just didn't open the door from the other side and climb out.
Right.
I mean, yeah, okay, shock, 9-foot creature. But at the same time, Rex, you're a fucking demon. Why don't you just flip the fucking car over and rip the fucking door off? Oh, God. It's made it even worse when Howard and his wife go to the police station.
And this is where Howard tries to give the best performance that he can, giving a talking down to the police officers.
Yeah.
Wait for what? More your mistakes? More slaughter?
Look, Mr. Helen Beck, we understand how you feel.
You have no idea how I feel.
I mean, Mum looks in shock, but she just doesn't say anything. Daughter looks in shock, and I can understand it. She's, 4 years old? That's the best acting we're going to get out of her. Howard's just like, oh, you're all irresponsible. He stole my son, and my voice goes high, and then it comes low again.
So Howard then decides that he's going to have to go back to the church, because obviously the police are completely inept.
Yeah.
So it's down to Howard now to figure out a way to stop this creature. And he knows that he's seen the image in the stained glass window.
Yeah. And this is where he gets a bit of a history report from Declan, who explains that this creature has obviously been around before and it was stopped, but now it's back and it's the actual god and blah, 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 blah. And I'm just like, this is so shit. Why am I watching a fucking movie called Rawhead Rex, where the monster's so fucking terrible that the acting in this is so bad? But it's actually one of the best things.
They put him in the earth, deep down. They thought he'd die, you see. Thought they could forget about him. But the Dark Ones come back. They always do.
Oh, God, just Somebody fucking do something. Oh, wait, here comes Rex again. He decides to head back to the caravan park. Why? Oh, because Rex wants to kill everybody here. And I mean, this is the thing that throws me off. Like you said, in the book, he's got a fear of women. But he overturns one of the caravans, grabs this old man, pulls him out, slams him up against the caravan, and then grabs a girl from inside the caravan, which I was just like, whoa, so he can kill women.
Yeah, he kills women. Like you said, it's pregnant women or women on their periods that he has a fear of. Anything else, fine.
So wait, how does he know they're on a period? Can he smell the blood?
I expect so, yeah.
But when you kill like a bunch of people, how can you tell the difference between them bleeding and other people bleeding?
It's Rawhead Rex.
Smelt the blood? Really? Certainly. It had a coppery smell about it. You couldn't miss it.
I just love the fact that the guy just happened to pull her dress at the exact same time that Rex pulled her out, and now she's naked, and he starts fucking throwing people all around, and a guy gets a gun and starts shooting at him, but obviously he's a demon of hell and the bullets do nothing, but he hits a gas tank and blows up a caravan and kills more people than Rex does at that point.
Yeah. And so now we have Howard, who's playing Da Vinci Code and trying to find the clues to the stained glass windows.
Yeah.
And realizes that, there's different pieces at different sections of the church. And he can't figure out which piece goes at the very top, which is the weapon, it would appear, that's defeating Rex in that stained glass window.
Yeah. And at the same time, the inspector, who has just been called that this monster has gone to the caravan park but then escaped, gets grabbed by Rex from the car and hypnotized.
Yes.
What? So Rex has got the power to hypnotize people so that they can do his bidding or work for him? Why hasn't he been doing this from the start of the movie? He could have had a fucking army of people at this point, all under his thrall, going around fucking other people up. That would have been more interesting. But he hypnotizes this cop and then heads to the church. And oh my fucking God, I shit you fucking not, Rex meets up with Declan in the graveyard, and Reverend Coots, who's inside having a nice fucking cup of tea, hears all this noise outside, goes outside and sees Declan on his knees in front of this giant creature being pissed on.
Awesome.
Awesome?
Yeah.
The fucking thing's so far in the fucking background, I couldn't tell what the fuck was going on. And why the fuck did he piss on him?
He's rebaptizing him under Rex's, pagan, Celtic sort of origins. Because, Clive Barker, he likes to have a dig at religion in all of his works. And so this is really, it's paganism versus Catholicism.
Right, does he piss on him in the book?
I don't know.
Right, because if he doesn't, what was the fucking point of putting it in the film and put it so far in the fucking background? You can't tell what the fuck's going on! But anyway, the priest makes a noise and Rex and Declan decide that they're going to get the priest. And it's... Rawhead just looks so stupid running. I have nothing against the actor playing Rex, but the fact that they've got this helmet on, head thing on, that doesn't move or anything, it just looks so juddery as he's running. Declan explains to the Reverend that this is the new God now, and you're so fucked, and, I'm going to take you up to Rex. But the priest has managed to call the police station, who obviously has passed the message on to the other police force, and they've all rushed to the church as well. Rex gets hold of the priest and kills him, but the armed police outside aren't too sure if he's alive or not. I'm like, it doesn't fucking matter. He's held up in the air by a 9-foot demon.
Yeah, but you got to remember the chief has been brain possessed
by
Rex, so he tells them not to shoot.
Well, no, that's his partner. The police chief turns up a couple of seconds later, decides to pour gasoline all on the floor, and blows up all the policemen and the civilians. It's
nice.
It's not. It's. There's a shot. I swear. There's a guy in one of the shots who's actually turned back, looking at the explosion, waiting for the explosion to happen, and then it all kicks off, and it's like action. Oh God! It's just at this point, Howard has also heard this information and decides to rush to the church. Comes across all the burning bodies and the dying priest, and the priest says, "The altar, the altar."
And it's a spot of bad editing right here, where he's laying there, and you have the police officer beside him.
Yeah.
And then the next shot, the police officer's vanished, and then the next shot, the police officer's there again. And I was like, what?
Yeah, and if you look very carefully, you can see that the guy's
still breathing. But he's not dead yet.
He's not dead. He's not dead yet. So Howard heads inside, and him and Declan start having a bit of a fight. Did he throw holy water in his face or cut him with something? I must have looked down at my notes, because when I turned up, Howard had won the fight.
Yeah,
it's something.
That's what happened.
Right. And Howard decides to open up the altar. Now, the altar is burning people. Is that Rex's power preventing people from getting the secret weapon out from the altar? Or is it men aren't allowed to touch the altar? Or what? Because he burns his hands trying to open it, so he opens it with a candlestick holder, and then takes this fertility stone out? Or something. It's just a fucking rock to me. It looks like it's got boobs. I can't tell, but
it's definitely, it's in the shape of a pregnant lady.
Yeah.
So
and Declan's like, oh fuck, we're so screwed now. I best go tell my boss.
He got into the altar. I couldn't stop him, but you can kill him.
And runs outside to tell Rex, and Rex, obviously slightly annoyed that they've managed to pick up the secret BFG 9000. And fucking bites Declan's neck, but he doesn't. The angle of the head is just squirting blood onto Declan's neck.
We never see him really bite anything.
No,
because of course the mouth won't close. So yeah, we just spray blood everywhere as Declan's just moved closer towards the camera.
He actually moves himself closer to it, like, It's like when the priest says, what do you think he's going to do to you when he's finished with you? Well, hopefully he's going to kill me. I'm like, Declan, that's your whole plan, is to hopefully get killed by this thing.
Wait, Declan, wait, think! It doesn't care about you. When it's finished with you, what will it do with you?
Kill me. I hope.
Declan, for the love of God.
Yeah, so the battle really ensues with now Howard and Rex, and Howard puts the fertility stone above his head.
Yeah, I don't like the use of that word battle there. It's not really, is it? I mean, when we think of battle, we think of Battle of the Five Armies. We think of the Battle of fucking Helm's Deep. We think of the fucking Battle of Endor. I think of this as two things meeting in a graveyard.
And so he's holding the stone above his head like he saw in the stained glass window, and nothing's happening.
Yeah. And it's the way he keeps circling Rex. Rex is like, oh, I'm going to get you. And Howard's like, no. Start. Go. Work. abracadabra. It's not working. And he drops the stone. And Rex starts fucking beating him up. And Howard's wife comes along at this point. Now,
where did she come from?
What? Yeah. Where did she get the information that Howard was at the church? Why has she left her only child alone again? Because there can't be anybody else left. Everybody else is dead. And just how did this even come to fruition? She picks up the stone, and the most god-awful light show starts to work.
We see this angelic sort of deity form behind her, like from the stained glass window. And Rex is defeated and sent back. You know, the ground opens up beneath him and falls in.
Yeah, why did Howard get the spade? Did he stab Rex or did he break the floor? Because he grabs a spade, walks up and slams it in, and it ends. And they drop the fucking weapon. They drop the only weapon to defeat Rex in the very same grave as Rex. What's even more shocking is the actual ending. Because it fades out and it comes back.
Well, you've got the final closure with Howard and his wife.
Yeah.
And they sort of hug and kiss, and it's like, yeah, we can go home now, everything's fine.
Apart from the fact our son got murdered by a 9-foot
Right?
monster.
And I'm just like, what? Like, how are you so casual right now? And then it cuts to after the funeral, where Andy's been buried.
Yeah, and his brother's laying flowers on the grave, and then... That was so bad. That was so bad.
You know, Clive Barker has, you know, as I've said, he hates this film, but though he has expressed an interest in remaking Rawhead Rex as, you know, as a writer, as director, and having creative control over the whole project with some budget, yet that never came to fruition either, as Clive Barker was working on a reboot for the Hellraiser franchise, which also hasn't come into fruition yet either.
Yeah.
So
I think you should just leave it, mate. Just Clive, just leave it, okay? Just don't. Yo, I like Hellraiser. I like Hellraiser 2 and to a certain extent Hellraiser 3. Nah, not Rawhead Rex. I don't even know how you could make this film better. How would you? You know, you could make it 2 hours long. You could update it in the fucking 21st century. You could have really, really good creature effects, but it just doesn't translate. Maybe I'm wrong. You know, maybe I am, but I just don't. I can't see it honestly translated to film. The fucking effect on the monster in this is so bad. I honestly just wanted to turn the audio off and put music on and watch it in the background, because it was just, I thought I'd enjoy it more. There's a rock band called I think it's Gua Guarda. I can't pronounce it properly, but they wear big fucking outfits like that on stage. They must have watched Rawhead Rex at some point and thought, hey, that's a really good idea for our band. Yes, it's a really good idea for a band. It's not a good idea for a partial horror movie.
Still, despite all of these flaws in the film, I still had two memorable and favourite scenes in the film. And we mentioned them already. You know, the farmer at the beginning saying, dinner's on the table, I'm out of here. And he never turns up again in the film. Actually, no, he does turn up later.
Yeah.
When they're investigating.
That bit made me laugh because they're investigating their buddy's death. And the police are there. And I swear to God, I tried to listen to it. I'm pretty sure the policeman and those two farmers are just mumbling. They're just like, you know, as the camera's on them.
Off we went to have it. Just like to hang on there, gentlemen. This is the officer in charge of the guests, all right? That's him now. I'd like to ask you a few questions.
That's all right.
Oh, that's so bad.
There's no actual dialogue in the screenplay there, so it's just like, what? And of course, Rex pissing on the priest, you know? That's so cool. It's like, you don't see that every day. Not in, you know, you watch 1,000 movies and you'll never see that.
You barely fucking see it in this movie.
True, but it's there.
Oh, in the meantime, can I get you a cup of tea?
Why'd you go fuck yourself?
I'm kind of the same. The deaths and the effects of the creature were just not memorable. The dialogue kind of was. There's a sequence where Declan and Howard are in the church. Declan just says, "Get the fuck out of this church."
Oh dear.
What did you do that for?
Get the fuck out of here. There's nothing here for you.
It's just like, this is the house of God, mate. You're not supposed to use that kind of language. And it's the way Howard replies, like, "I will get the fuck out of here in a minute."
Yeah, I'll get the fuck out of here. And you'll be very fucking glad.
You're just like, "Oh, all right, boys."
Well, he did break his camera.
But yeah, I know. Just, I told you Declan was a dick. And the best one was where after Howard's son has been killed and the police are off doing something, an inept police officer turns to Howard and goes, "Do you want a cup of tea?" And Howard goes, "Go fuck yourself." I was just like, "Wait, mate, I'm only asking." Jesus. Take that as a no.
You know, this film, it does qualify to that it's so bad, it's good category. But again, of course, it really does depend on individuals. So when it comes to recommending this film, it's really difficult because you know yourself whether you seek out and enjoy those so bad that they're kind of funny or entertaining on some level to you. This film definitely fits that bracket, but at the same time, this film is awful. You know, the dialogue is hokey, the performances are terrible, the creature is abysmal, the music is all over the place. The editing and the pacing and the continuity, the story, it's all jumbled up.
Yeah.
It's been put in a blender and only half processed. And so the final result is it's part horror, it's part comedy, you know, and some of it is fascinating because I'm like, I want to look at this creature and I want it to be effective, but the way that it's filmed, it's just not. And so it just all falls flat. Though, you know, for an hour and 20 minutes, I found myself fairly entertained because I was laughing at the ridiculous kills. I was laughing at the creature, at the music, at the absurdity of it all. And then, you know, having to read about what the book was actually about to try and get some backstory, some history of the creature, this religious battle that's going on. This, you know, him not liking pregnant women, you know, because it's not explained in the film whatsoever.
Not at all.
So, you know,
even a title card at the beginning would have been nice just to put that in perspective and then go into the film. At least you'd have something to stand on.
But otherwise, me personally, I don't ever want to watch this film again. And even when it's restored in 4K, I might have to watch it again then, actually, just to go, oh, wow, you know, that's made no difference. This film is still terrible. But, you know, I tell you what, I should have been drunk. I should have been rotten drunk, and then maybe this film would have been more entertaining. Watching it in a group of friends, all taking the piss out of the film, may have made the film more enjoyable. But then at the end of the day, the film is still bad.
Yeah.
So it gets a half-ish recommendation from me because it depends on your preference for this type of film. But now you know what you're going into.
Yeah, I'm kind of the same. If like me, you saw the poster when you were younger and you always kind of wanted to watch it, I fucking dare you. I fucking doggy dare you to go fucking watch it. Otherwise, just watch this review again. You know, we probably stick the best bits in here. Everything, I back up everything that Gary says. The fucking dialogue is terrible. The effects are terrible. The fucking creature is terrible. It boggles the mind, you know, what the guy was actually thinking at the end when he'd edited it all together and thought, yeah, I'm going to release this. Yeah. Yeah, you know, I can understand now why Clive Barker's like, no, fuck you all, you're not ruining my shit. But then again, like I said, I've never read the story, but I can't see how it would translate to film. There's just too much background stuff you're supposed to know before all the shit starts kicking off that it just would just make it slightly boring. Rex himself, I don't even think Rex himself knows what he's doing half the fucking time. I'll hypnotize this person and piss on this person. I'll open the car door for this kid, but I'll overturn the caravan for these people. Do I hide in this barn all day? Or do I just walk the streets like I fucking own the place? Who fucking cares, Rex?
Shall I stand as a statue over on this cliff face?
Yeah, just Rex, just go back to hell, honestly, because that's where this film needs to go.
Thanks for watching Off the Shelf Reviews.